So on the motion by Council Morel, seconded by Council Falco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Council Marks, you had something under suspension.
Residents here that would like to speak under public participation.
Under public participation. Would anyone like to speak under public participation? Good evening. Name and address for the record and the topic you'll be speaking on.
My name is Briana Durham. I live at 105 Brookings Street. And I'm here to speak about the administrative leave of Michael Durham. Good evening, President Carbiello and members of the Medford City Council. My name is Briana Durham. My husband is Medford's Veteran Services Director, Michael Durham. I thank you for your attention and ask that you listen to me not as a wife, even though I am proud to be Mike's wife. But if you hear my words simply as a wife, it would demean my words and it would demean me. It would be like patting me on the head and saying, "Thank you, little girl." Instead, I ask that you listen to me as an independent woman, listen to me as a resident of Medford who wants you to know the truth. First, the wage issue. At Mike's budget hearing, every one of you were told by the former chief of staff that the city paid the so-called chief people officer for work that was done by Mike during the fiscal year that ended in 2020, in July of 2020. This has never been corrected, and Mike has never been paid in full. But Mike never cared about the money. As usual, he only cares about what's right. What you don't know is that about 1 month ago, Michael made a public records request to the city asking for documents. In particular, a document from October 2020 that we feel shows that the city knew that the payments made to the chief people officer were fraudulent. The city has refused to produce the record twice, and this has left Mike with no alternative but to have his lawyer request that the court order the city to release the public record. As to veterans benefits, every one of you know Mike has spoken out repeatedly about the administration's policies that will result in reducing veterans' preference in civil service hiring. You may also know the mayor, in a video that she released online, called Mike a liar. Not one to be deterred, in early September, Mike spoke out publicly at a veterans benefits rally against this discrimination. He was exercising the very right of free speech that he defended at the risk of his own life. What you may not know is that the chief people officer on behalf of the city of Medford is scheduled to speak at a state commission meeting on September 24th, 2021, when it continues its discussion of veterans benefits in civil service. For many weeks, Mike has been asking the chief people officer to share what he intends to say at the meeting. The chief people officer has never once had the courtesy to respond to Mike. Last Thursday afternoon, Mike saw the chief people officer on the second floor of City Hall. It was right after Mike had finished some ticket hearings. Mike asked him to share what he intends to say at the meeting. The chief people officer refused to do so, saying he should ask the mayor, and slammed the men's room door in his face. Mike did as he was directed and went right across the hall to the mayor's office in the outer office where the secretaries sit. The mayor's door was open, and the mayor was at her desk at the other end of the office, away from Mike. Mike asked her if she could share what the chief people officer was going to present at the civil service meeting. The mayor refused to speak to him, saying that he was represented, and slammed the door as she retreated into the chief of staff's office. Mike immediately filed a written report with the city solicitor describing how the refusal of the mayor and the chief people officer is negatively impacting his ability to do his job as veterans director. This was his fourth hostile workplace complaint. On Friday morning at 8:30 a.m., Mike emailed this council once again, raising the matter of payments made by the city to a person who did not do the work. No one disputes that the work was done entirely by Mike. 4 hours later, Mike was ordered to go up to the interim chief of staff's office and was placed on administrative leave and told that he had to have a fitness for duty examination. He was told that this was not a disciplinary matter, but he was being banned from all municipal buildings. This was done even though Mike's behavior at the meeting was described as being the perfect gentleman, very professional, and extremely polite by the 2 police officers that the mayor had called to City Hall to walk Mike down to his office and out of the building. Both officers have also said to Mike's lawyer that there was no need for them to be there. There have been no incidents to warrant such actions on the mayor's part. In my opinion, this is not a personnel issue. It is retribution against Mike for reporting an injustice. And it is an attempt to silence Mike for being honest. The mayor is using a vicious stereotype that veterans are imbalanced and violent to smear the reputation of a good man, a kind and caring professional who has served his country, who serves the veterans and their families, and who serves this city. The collateral damage to the administration's vile and depraved action against Mike is that the veterans and their families will not be receiving the assistance that they need and deserve. There are some words that each of you need to be reminded of. They were said at Mike's budget hearing. Councillor Knight said, Mike is doing a great job. As department heads go, he is at the top of the list. Councillor Marks said, Mike has taken this position to a different level. Councillor Morrell said, Mike has done a tremendous amount of work for a 1-person office. Councillor Scarpelli said, my question is, how do we make sure someone as valuable as Mike stays? If only we could clone Mike. Councillor Falco said, Mike is doing a fabulous job. Councillor Beer said, Mike's budget doesn't reflect the millions of dollars that he has raised to help veterans. The amount that it has increased is truly impressive. Councillor President Carviello said, Mike is doing a great job for veterans and for the citizens of this city. Even former Chief of Staff, David Rodriguez said, I've never seen someone step up like Mike. Because each of you said these words, you know that Mike did not abandon his job. He would be on the job this very minute, if not for politically motivated smear campaign, falsely dressed up as administrative leave. Here are the next words that I respectfully ask this council to say in a formal vote. Be it resolved that the mayor of the city of Medford immediately rescind her order of administrative leave for Michael Durham and return him to his position as Veteran Services Director in the city of Medford without restriction. Thank you.